let's start. This is my first PowerPoint. I will go start now, and I am sorry for the entrapment that's going to follow in the next hour. I have fallen in a pit of deep obsession recently concerning a game called Love and Deepspace that we shorten to LADS because that's the initials of it, and that is also extremely funny for a dating game. I am going to then do an introduction and also my wishes for the game. What is Love and Deepspace? You might be asking yourself this question. I think a lot of people are really caring about this. So, Love and Deepspace is a mobile game made by the Chinese company Infold Games, and you might know them from the Love Nikki games. It came out in November 2023, so we are almost at the 1-year anniversary, which I am very excited about. And it is an action, adventure, mystery, dating, interactive game. When you open the game, you get greeted with this. What is this? Let's break down the interface together. Yes, I will go through every single part of the interface to explain every bit of it, because I want people that want to actually start playing this game might be hyped about the story to be able to also play the game and not get onto this interface and then be like, what is this? What is happening?
Yeah,
so,
no,
where are we? Who are you? What are these random fucking icons? This is also confusing. Let's start with this. It's written story. That's clear enough. So, this is the story tab. This is where you're going to have all of the main story chapters.
Oh my god.
Which are...
I feel like I'm already taking notes.
His shoulders so broad and mysterious. Who is that? The story tab. Basically, this is where you're going to have the main storyline of the game. They are all video, little interactive things where you can click and pass the story and you read through. It's very light novel. If you've played a light novel, it's very like this. It is right now only into 2 categories. You have pretty much the intro, which is under Deepspace, which is 8 chapters, and you have Long Awaited Rivalry, which is 2 chapters, and then you also have a word underneath. So once you click through one of those, you have these, which are basically you go through paragraphs through each chapter, and then you have word underneath, which are additional little stories that are written, and they're usually stories about secondary characters. Then we're going to start with the little icons on the right because I make the rules. The agenda is very simple. It's all the daily little quests that you have to do. If you've ever played a mobile game, you have daily quests to do. This is where they're stored. This is the things you do to get more points and more. You get like little things.
Already so fucking lost.
Very simple. Basically, that you do this to get the points, and if you do, you have X amount of tasks per day to do to get a certain amount of resources within the game to then buy other stuff. The events, it's basically short time daily stuff, so connect every day to get this for during this week, or this is the event that we have going on right now in the game that is specific to this character, that kind of thing. The wish tab now. The wish tab is very important because that is the gacha tab.
Yay!
Because of course this is a gacha game.
Gambling!
We gamble. If you've never played that kind of gacha game, basically, since you already have all the characters, you are then getting little cards of all the characters that are animated cards usually, or just illustrations, additional illustrations, and usually linked to them you will have a little additional story that happens between the main character and the love interests. So that's why you do gachas, to get all the cards and get all of the little videos or audio messages that you get through them. And also to fight.
We fight!
Because we also have battle in this game.
Obviously.
Then under here to have the shop. Shop, very simple. You buy stuff either with in-game currency or with real money. Then we have the with him tab. The with him tab is a bit more deep. That's why we have 4 screens for it. So you get into the with him tab, you get a little desk that you can personalize with stuff that you've got by just playing the game, basically. So you have a little desk for each love interest in the game, and you can personalize it for each love interest however you'd want. Through that tab, you have 3 little additional ones that you can see under here. Very simple. Collections is basically the plushies that you see here. You can get them through a game that I will explain later. Memories is the amount of cards you've got and have like read of the character. About him is going to be the tab where you have infos about the character. So you have his age, his height, his birthday, stuff like that, like little facts about the character that you've learned through just doing story with him and that you will not remember because there is so much fucking going on. And then the love timeline, same. It's little things that the last things you've done basically with the character. For example, here you have never cease sweating sunset tomato. That happened because I got a sunset tomato plushie, and that is the name of the achievement for it. So basically, yeah, those are just like little summaries of what you've done so far with that character in the game, in like the dating love interest part. Let's go to the phone, little phone here that you've probably not seen. So you have a phone, and you have a fully
a phone in
fake
my phone?
So you have your little wheel on the side. Very simple. One is for voice and video messages that you get with the character, so you have calls and stuff. One is for text messages. Of course, you can change all of the little character pictures that you have with them. You can put whichever picture you've taken with them that you want. And you have a social media tab where either the character or you do posts, and you can react to the post by liking them and adding comments. And then you have this, which is just basically random articles that no one reads, but you can send to some of the characters and it will give you more text messages. Now, we're starting the fun stuff.
Oh my god. Brother, any more pictures on the screen maybe? Like maybe
Honestly,
2 more? Maybe 3 more?
Vessi, I could have. I really could have.
Oh my god.
I went soft. And when I say that, I am
This is
being
soft?
honest. You click the little
Well,
date
now it
tab
is.
on the bottom of the screen, of the main big screen. You get into this screen with written dating. You have little games and stuff. So you have playtime. If you open playtime, you have 2 options. Either you have claw machine, which is what it says on the tin. You can do claw machine and you can get plushies that way. That's how you get the plushies for the desk from earlier. And you have kitty cards, which is a little card game that's very simple, but I get really bored of doing, so I never do it. And with that one, you can get little pins and buttons with cute little cats on it. Then we have the photo studio. It is what it says. You have different options of photos. Snapshot is just taking pictures. It's this interface, so you have little poses, you have your character, you have the dating character, and then you take pictures together. You can change the background, you can change the outfits, you can change your outfits, you can change the poses, have fun. And under the photo studio, you have the album, so with all the pictures you've taken, either in the game or in the photo shoot things. And we have by your side. By your side is voice messages that you get through the cards, so or by getting a certain level of intimacy with the love interest. It's very simple. It's just basically little audio books, like very short audio stories of scenes that your character is going to have with that character. Secret Times is more of like just him talking, and Tender Moments is scenes with usually your character and sometimes other characters and the other person talking, the love interest talking. Then you have Falling For You. It's very similar. It's also things you get through cards, but this time it's video ones, because you get little video scenes additional through the cards and stuff. And then you have Anecdotes. Anecdotes is the tab that broke me, because I thought it was going to be cute little stories, because they're all written stories. It looks like that you have 6 chapters per character. You think it's going to be a cute little story about the character, because all of this is cute little things. No, they are their backstories, and none of their backstories is happy, and also they all break the world dynamics that you think they are. Yeah. I will come back to them, because they, like, pretty much, I have pages and pages of notes on this, and...
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh no, but like besties.
Oh fucking god.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And I realized by doing my rundown yesterday that most of my notes are outdated, because now I've read the anecdotes and my theories are answered to it incorrect.
You have to start again.
Yeah.
Now we have the battle part. So it's the middle one. Very simple. Basically, you have a battle system in here. It's kind of similar to Wuthering Heights or Genshin, I think. So here you put the cards that you want in, you put the characters that you want to fight with, and then you go fight against monsters. It's very cute, very fun, very quick to do. It's just a different kind of battles you can have. Yeah, it's basically all resource mining, and Abyssal Chaos is the only thing that's a bit different, which is basically kind of a detective thing, stories that you get through with the characters. It's kind of fun. Then we have memories. As you can see, it gets horny a little bit. So those are the cards you get from your gacha, and you can evolve them and make them higher levels for the fights and to get additional stories, because some of them you need to like evolve to a certain amount to get X part of the story. And in here you make your little teams. In here, when you do the gacha, you can get shards of cards that you don't already have. With a certain amount of charge, you can get the card in question. Now we get to this little thing up there. You didn't think you could click on the level? You can click on your level. You click on your level, you get your profile. So you can put the memories that you prefer, which are the cards. You can put the photos you prefer. You can change your profile picture. You can change your appearance and your voice. If you click on the little things down there, so this is to download. This is the encyclopedia, which is really practical. Because this game throws a lot of terms at you that I will explain when I explain the lore. But this is basically all of the encyclopedia of the game. So if you have a thing and you're like, I don't remember who this is, I don't remember what this is, you go there, it's all explained, that's great. Here you have your long-term achievements. So it's going to be Same thing as daily little things, but for longer terms, like, oh, you've done this with this character for X amount of days, you've done this with this character for X amount of days, and then you get a little thing. This is just your inventory, so everything that you've gotten in the game is in here, and this is just the systems, so... Then, we have here, it's just friends list. It's very simple, just the people that you've added as friends. Those are all random people that I do not know, and I've added only to get points. You have the little letter here, it's just to get mail. It's usually just the game updates. And you have this little gift, you click on it, and it's written top up with a boy. So it's great. Fun way to invite you to put real money in the game. This is like the real money pack stuff. Oh, what's this? Click here. There's more shit. So
More things.
You can keep more?
this is if you want to interact with the guy that's in front of you that's been waiting for me to take 20,000 screenshots. So here you can just switch which love interest you want to have. Here you can change the outfit, you can change the music, you can change the background, you can take photos. Here's a little magnifying glasses to put all the UI away so you can take a picture. And you have little things to interact with him on the side. Very simple. Heartbeat, you listen to his heartbeat, not that hard. Relax time, you have little cute interactions you can do with them that have little animations. What to eat is pretty much menu inspo. Tete-a-tete is basically a kind of like a free therapy service. Basically, it's quite sweet. You can have a little chat with them. You can say something like, I put an example here. Like, you have option I'm happy, option something bad happened. If you click on it, you have more options to be like, I have issues with this or this right now in my life. And usually, or you could just say I'm happy, and he will respond being like, oh, I'll support you, whatever. Like, for example, this one was, did someone bully you? Give me a list, and then go to bed. I'll take care of everything else. Like, it's not much, but it's quite sweet, I think. Especially for younger people that get very into it. And then quality time. Quality time is a timer. You can choose an amount of time, and then the character will have a little idle animation. It goes through a little thing. Yeah, if you need a timer, but you also need a timer that has a video on your phone that will help you to, like, not go somewhere else on your phone, you know, that's good, I think. Let's do a brief summary of the story of Love and Deepspace, now that I've talked about the whole UI of the game. In Love and Deepspace, here are the main characters we're going to talk about. This is my main character. You can change the visuals and the face and the hair of everything. This is how I dressed her up. We are going to call her MC because it's easier. And here are the love interests. You have Rafayel, here you have Zayne, here you have Xavier, and here you have Sylus. There are more to come. We know there are more love interests to come. We start the game as MC. She is a young woman that is just going to join the Hunters Association. Basically, in this world, and especially her, 14 years ago when she was a child, Wanderers appeared. Wanderers are those little guys. They are monsters that come from something called the Deepspace Tunnel, which is a big tunnel that goes into deep space. And monsters appeared from there, which is great. They killed a lot of people. It was very dangerous. And so in response to this, an association called the Hunters Association was created to fight them and kill them so that people don't die. When Wanderers die, they leave behind them protocols. Here are the protocols here. Protocols are basically little gems, things in the world that we are in at the present time when MC is an adult. Now they're used as basically an energy source, and they're used in science and a lot of things. The thing is, we didn't know they were a source of energy or how to use them 14 years in the past when the Wanderers just appeared. So when she was a child and the Wanderers just appeared, MC got attacked by Wanderer and developed something called protocol syndrome. Basically, shards of the gem got attached to her heart. Protocol syndrome can be on other organs, but for her it's her heart. And so she's at risk of medical emergencies and medical issues down the line because of it. So she's very much supervised by a doctor and stuff like that. When we start the game, she is just starting to become a deep space hunter. She gets her badge. She does a test, basically, where all the new hunters do a test to see to what teams are going to be affected. And she goes to the Alpha team, which is the team that takes care of bigger wanderers and for highly skilled hunters. Of course, she's the main character. And so, yeah, basically, this is going to be the story of her going into what the fuck has happened 14 years ago, why did it happen, where does the Wanderers come from, and also some soul searching because shit happened in her backstory. I didn't say it before, but I will say it now. Spoiler warning, starting from now, I'm going to spoil heavily the entire lore of all the games that we have so far. We're going back to this screen because I'm going to talk to you about the base story of all of the love interests. We're going to start with Xavier, which is little guy here over here. Xavier is another deep space hunter, so they are colleagues with MC, and they usually team up a lot within the story, and he is a lot more experienced than she is. We don't exactly know when he joined the force, but he is very good at what he does. Zayne, here. He is a childhood friend of MC. They used to be really good friends when they were kids, and he had to move away because of his parents' job, and he came back only recently, and now he's a surgeon, and he's also has become MC's doctor, so medical practitioner. So she comes to him for like all of her regular medical tests that she had to take a lot because of her protocol syndrome. Rafayel is an artist.
Rafayel, Rafayel.
And also everyone's except me favorite character. This is a theme. My favorites are those three: Xavier, Zayne, and Sylus. Rafayel is Helen's and Juno's and Zeke's favorite. Main favorite for Juno is Sylus though. And I cannot stand him. I hate him with my whole heart. And they have that with Zayne, so it's fine, we exchange. So Rafayel is an artist, he's a painter, he's a very well-known artist, and he's very famous. And basically because of a client, stuff that has to go with her hunter job, MC meets up with Rafayel and he asks her to become his bodyguard. Sylus is the head of an organization called Onykinus. Onykinus is a mafia. MC gets in contact with Onykinus and therefore with Sylus because she's wanting to know more about her past. She gets to meet with him and stuff, and that's how they meet. The 109 zone is basically a zone outside of the main city that we spend most of the time on, called Lincoln City. It's outside of the city and it's basically a no-rules zone where everything is hyper dangerous, and he's the head of that zone basically. Now let's jump into Deepspace together. I'm so fucking excited about it. Let's start with the storylines. We have Under Deepspace, which is pretty much the prelude, so we get all of the story of MC before she leaves Lincoln City, and we have a long-awaited rivalry, which is when she starts to go to the 109 zone and meet with Sylus. The thing is, I was going to theorize that I think they're going to do a different timeline and different little corner that, like you can see here, for each love interest. I was going to theorize that until it got canonized by a tweet recently about saying that Zayne's main storyline was going to start. So I'm guessing we're going to have little things like this for all of the main characters. Now, there are two options.
Because it's not complicated enough.
Oh, it's just a start. Basically, we know there are parallel realities and we have a lot of time fuckery. Because in Zayne's anecdotes, we learn that there is a version of Zayne called Downbreaker Zayne, which is in a version of Lincoln City that is set far, far, far in the future. And in his dreams, he sees the Zayne that we play with be with the MC that we know, and he sees that in his dreams. They are alternate realities. Either it will be a case of you have all of the storylines happening at the same time, but you can, depending on the storyline that you're reading, it's the same chain of events, but if you're dating a different character, and that would be really interesting, because if that's what they do, that means that you have impact on what happens within the story. So, the same action happening if you're dating Zayne or if you're dating Sylus will not go the same way, because you wouldn't have you around. And of course, main character is the main character, so she's important. And it would be really interesting, I think, to see how the same story goes depending on who you're dating, because then there would be major differences within the story. And maybe someone dies, maybe someone becomes a villain, because they're all extremely in love with main character already. I would be really interested to see how that goes. So it's either that, or either it's going to be a story with, you have just a main story with just arcs with the characters, but then the main story is one big thing and you're not really dating anyone, which I don't think is going to happen because of, here you can see the word underneath little icon on the bottom. There is one of the little stories which is about Zayne's co-worker, and he talks to Zayne, and he talks about how Zayne started to date MC. So that means that within a thing that is done within the main storylines, we have a storyline in which Zayne is dating MC. So to me, that means that we're going to have different storylines where she's dating different people, and you just go an alternate parallel worlds depending on the storyline that you're in at that point, which is really interesting and I really like, and I really hope they do. MC, in contrary to a lot of dating games, which is really cool, MC is a full-fledged character and she has an actual personality and does stuff her way. And you don't really, yeah, and you don't really get to choose her personality that much. It's not, because at some point I was like, maybe in each reality you're switching from them, and there's only one guy per reality, and they are not. But that's not true, because in the Sylus part, both Zayne and Xavier are sighted, so they are existing in that world. We know that, even though we've never seen them meet each other, which is interesting because they have stuff going on in between them. Let's start focusing on Xavier. This is when things starts getting funny. Xavier is a time traveler that
Oh.
that cannot
Okay.
die because he has an eternal lifetime. Xavier comes from a planet called Sylus. What we know about Sylus is that it is a planet that was birthed from the end of the Earth. We start his anecdotes and we learn that Sylus is 214 years old at the point of when he is in high school. And he's...
Wait, wasn't the planet Phyllis?
Yes.
Okay.
And the
so
reason why
Xavier's- that's
What?
age.
Sylus has been born for 214 years old is because 214 years earlier, the Earth died.
Oh, okay.
Sylus
Okay. Young
is
planet.
is
Okay.
a bunch of little plateaus basically that are turning around an artificial core, and that artificial core, as long as it lives, the people that are from Sylus are also living, so they are kind of immortals in that way. They live hundreds and hundreds of years. We know that he comes from that planet, and we also know that when he was in high school, from the anecdotes part, he met a girl that was basically MC. She has protocol syndrome like MC, which means that she cannot live as long as he can. She has more of a human lifespan, where he's like, I can live for hundreds of years. And him and that character started to have a bit of a romance, a bit of a little thing, and she told him that if he gets a certain kind of protocol, then she would be healed. Like, she needs a certain kind of protocol that is extremely rare. So he goes away when she gets in the hospital to try to find that protocol. He comes back on the day of her death. She dies because she says it's too late. Even though he has the protocol, it's too late now. She tells him, find me in another life. And he's like, yes, I will, blah, blah, blah. Then, we don't know why, we don't know how, he gets a spaceship and a crew, and they go in the past to Earth
Yeah, typical tragedy, of course.
through the Deepspace tunnel, which now we know is not only a tunnel that goes through space, but also through time.
Huh.
Goes on Earth, the spaceship crashes and has issues, so they arrive hundreds of years too early. We don't exactly know what the mission is, still to this point. We know that it has something to do with MC because he needs to find her. That's the term of the thing, is he needs to find her. He does find her. Through the hundreds of years, each of the member of his crew start having their own life kind of like going on left and right. He's the only one still on mission at the end of this, basically. He finds MC, breaks the rules that he's not supposed to interact with her, he's not supposed to talk to her, fully falls in love with her, and acts as basically her knight in shining armor, even though they're both as badass one and the other, because they're both Deepspace hunters. The thing is that Xavier, when we first meet him and through a lot of it, hunts a lot of wanderers and constantly looks at the protocols left behind, being like, that's not what I'm looking for. I am guessing that what he's doing is trying to hunt for the same protocols that he was looking for on the other planet, to try to save MC so she doesn't have protocol syndrome anymore and she can live hundreds and hundreds of years and not die like the girl that he knew did. A second thing, when he went to go hunt for protocols on his home planet, he sold his freedom for it. And the thing that he got in return is a red necklace. It's kind of like a choker thing that appears from time to time. It's not an actual necklace. The thing is, it looks exactly the same.
Sounds a bit cheap. You lost everything. Here's a necklace.
Exactly. You lost everything.
Amazing.
Your girlfriend's going to die in 2 hours, but that's fine. The thing is, we see that kind of bond made with their powers. Their powers are called evil. Xavier has a light evil. Our main character has an enhancement evil, so basically she can help anyone, makes their power like 10 times stronger. And we've seen someone use their evil and have a similar thing, and that is Sylus. And I will come back to it when we talk about Sylus, but I believe that he sold his freedom or something to Sylus, and something is going on there.
I see.
Because Sylus also has connections to Sylus, so it would make sense. That is my theories for him. I believe that he has something to do with Sylus. He tried to find MC because she's either the ancestor or the reincarnation of the girl that he had a crush on and was fully in love with, because if time and space is not going linear.
Of course.
And the mission, I thought at first the mission might have been to make sure that she is at the right time, at the right place, so that she then starts the event that then makes the fall of the Earth, so that happens, so Sylus happens. Or to stop it from happening, but it would not make sense to try to stop it from happening, because then Xavier would not exist anymore.
Time paradox.
Yeah, exactly. So there's shit going on. We don't exactly know really why. Also, he has a secret persona called Lumière, where he fights with the masks. It's kind of funny. So he does that when he's done doing on police duty. He's still fighting, trying to find protocols, but illegally, and so he has a persona for that. So Zayne is a doctor, like I said. The thing is, Zayne has a curse. Or, I'm pretty sure he also has Protocol Syndrome. Dawnbreaker Zayne is the Zayne that is in another reality fighting, and in his dreams sees the Zayne that we know. He is in a Lincoln city that has fallen hundreds of years before. He's overtaken by nature. He's overtaken by wanderers everywhere. And we learn that people can become wanderers when they get Protocol Syndrome. When they are too affected by protocol fragments, they can become wanderers themselves and then become danger. Yeah, the Zayne in that reality fights them and kills them and tries to make them, like, to get the place be less dangerous. I believe that Normal Zayne and Dawnbreaker Zayne are two faces of one coin, and that in our reality, where it's not overtaken by wanderers because the hunters are taking care of it, our Zayne has Protocol Syndrome and is going ultimately to become a wanderer, or at least is scared of becoming at some point a wanderer. And we know that he's doing research and has become a surgeon, and specifically a cardiac surgeon, to try to make himself, whenever he ends up becoming dangerous, safe for MC, so that MC is not in danger because of him. I'm guessing it's kind of like a yin-yang situation where Dawnbreaker Zayne fights people becoming wanderers, and he is scared of becoming a wanderer on the other side because of Protocol Syndrome. Apart from that, we also know from backstory stuff that when he was in school, then he became a doctor, he became a surgeon, and he was asked by people that he went to school with to study how to revive people, and so that people won't die as much, especially in fight, especially hunters. He refused because he said that he doesn't want to alter the curse of life, and it's really important that life takes its course. People need to die.
People need to die.
People need to die.
Wow.
And basically, the issue was that they weren't able to make it work at that lab that was not an illegal lab, but kind of like a weird thing. Because Zayne was such a good surgeon and such a prodigy and stuff, they were like, if he tries it, we can find the right thing to make it work. But since we don't have him, we can't. And the guy in question implies that he's going to blackmail Zayne with MC, because he would do anything for her, to try to get him to do that with them. Now, fast to the future, when he is dating MC, we see a surgeon revive a hunter that has fallen. So he clearly helped them.
We're doing necromancy now, let's go.
Exactly. And it's the thing, I'm like, how far did he help them? What are the implications of that? And is he still helping them? And what else are they doing? It's all very fucked science, and I would be extremely interested to see Zayne become a character that goes from sweet childhood friend, and like, he's very cool and shit, but like, who cares, to having a dark twist, because he will do anything for MC and to try to save MC, not knowing that MC cannot die. Storyline because it's linked.
Casually dropping that.
He will do anything for her, and I would love to see him go into a mad scientist arc and become a villain for the MC cannot die thing. Basically, MC, when she gets killed, she gets amnesia. She doesn't remember anything that happened before. She comes back to life. She has amnesia. We don't really know why. I'll go back to it when we get to the MC slide. But the thing is, Zayne gets to MC when her grandma dies, papers explaining what happened to her, and that she has that thing of like being a test subject as a kid, gives her the papers. I don't think she knows that she cannot die, but she knows things about that. And those papers we also find in one of the dark underworld stories through Mafia. And so I'm wondering, how did Zayne get them? Was it actually the grandma that gave them to him? Because I don't believe so. Because so far Zayne is the only one that's not directly linked to the Mafia or the 109 zone, and I think it's going to go through that route. Rafayel. Okay, Rafayel is a merman.
Good, amazing, great.
He comes from a people called Lemurians, from Lemuria. Rafayel is the one that I have kind of like the least to say about, because they didn't go as deep with his backstory, because I'm guessing that they want to give some of the mysteries for it in his like main story arc, so that's why they went a little less ham. He was a royal there, I think, and basically his people got there's no more Lemuria, let's put it that way. People died. He's one of the sole survivors. We don't really know why or how or who did that. But we know that now Rafayel is on a vengeance spree and going to kill people. So far in the storyline, we know that he has killed 2 people. He has moved once to go to a new city to kill someone else. And so he kills people that have either experimented or want to experiment or have hurt the Lemurians in a way, and he kills them in a way that's very specific. He carves their mouths so they smile, and he carves fish scales on them as well.
Oh my god, he's a little
Okay.
freaky like that. Okay.
Yeah, he also is, like I said, a painter. He's an artist. He can put... I don't know if it's his power or if it's literally just the way he uses pigments, because it's kind of implied it could be both. His paintings can become hallucinations.
Really?
Yeah, and people have died because of that. So that's how he killed one of the guys. We also know that he knows MC from before and that she forgot him. The thing is, the only way that I know that MC has amnesia issues is if she dies. So, and we know that she remembers everything from when she was, let's say, 4 or 5 years old, around that age. So either he met her before that age, or he did a semi-amnesia thing, which would be weird. In my headcanon, he's lying about his age. He says he's 24, but I think he's a lot older than that. And he has just a weird Lemurian thing where, like, an amount of human years is an amount of Lemurian years. So he's 24 in Lemurian years, but it's not actually 24. Because it would make no sense for him to have known her that much as a baby, because he would still have been in Lemuria at that point, I believe. And also, we know that the Lemurians are supposed to be an ancient species that lived hundreds of years ago. How did you know the end of your town, of your kingdom and stuff?
I just love the pictures you're showing us. Because we have a time traveler, a merman, and here are some pictures with plushies, and it's all cute and fluff.
Yeah, that's all illustrations that you can get in the game. Sylus is not only the head of a mafia gang, he's also a space lord that has killed many emperors and comes from space. Sylus was on Sylus. We get a backstory of him on a huge spaceship going to kill the Emperor Almighty of Sylus, takes all the resources of him and every rich person in Sylus, and then leaves for Earth. Guessing he took the deep space tunnel that brought him to our Earth that is in the past for them, but in normal time for us. He went for the ether core. What is the ether core, you might ask? The ether core is a type of protocore that both him and MC have, and that's why they have weird-ass powers. There are more out there, and he's going to try to get one, and he knows there's one on Earth, which is what also MC is after when she goes to the 109 zone. Sylus is extremely similar to MC in the way that MC has protocore syndrome and an ether core on her heart. He has that on his eye. So his eye makes weird little flashes and he says he can see what someone wants at the deepest parts of themselves and knows people's desires. Something really weird that happens when MC and Sylus are together and she looks at his eye for a bit too long is that her brain tells her to devour him. So I would love to know what that is about. She goes to the 109 zone to get her stuff, and he wants to force her to resonate with him, which is enhance his power. And they don't succeed at that because she does not like him / she's scared of him. So they are going through a little storyline of, you know, trying to get her to like him so that they can resonate together. And then they get together and he gets really soft when he is in love with her, and it's really quite cute. I would love to know where he comes from, because it's not from Sylus, because he clearly went to Sylus to get the Emperor and fuck him up. How many fucking galaxies has he decided to take over, because he is an intergalactical criminal? And he's also like, he doesn't really care about having the planet for his own. Like, he leaves Sylus once he has all that he wants. He doesn't like try to take over or whatever. But also that brings me the question of, when he went on Sylus, because we know that there's multiple like plateaus in Sylus that are not connected to each other, so he probably went to not the same one that Xavier had school on. The thing that I was talking about earlier. I am wondering, first of all, in Xavier's timeline, it's before or after when Sylus went here and took power. Depending on that, that means that either for him, Sylus is either the head of the fucking planet that he comes from, or a guy that went and killed the emperor that they used to have. Which I think is interesting things. Like I said, he has the necklace thing that reminds me a lot of this guy's evil. Is it a thing of he's under his control, he has a contract with him, he has something to do for him? I don't know. We don't know. I would love to know.
Very nice.
I hate to admit I am intrigued.
Yeah, I know, it's a good story.
Ooh.
Then we get to
God.
MC. This is my MC, this is how I dress her, I love her. As a child, we only know her from a certain age at the start of the Wanderer attack. My first question is, first of all, because she has no memory of what happened before because she died at that point and came back. Where the fuck does she come from? What family does she have? Is she from Sylus and was then put there? She gets adopted by a woman after they she becomes a test subject to a bunch of scientists trying to do tests with ether cores. That's how she gets her ether core. and that's how she gets protocol syndrome and a lot of things, and so she cannot die. When she dies, she forgets everything that comes before, so she's not aware that she is immortal. But that is something that also Sylus has. When she first meets Sylus, she shoots him in the heart, and he comes back to life. It says also we don't know the amount of her powers. I'm really intrigued to how far her power go, because she's known to be extremely powerful, but also her powers are capped right now, and she's not nearly as full power as she could be. So she was adopted by that woman that she called Grandma, that did experiments on her as a kid, and then took her in once the lab stopped being funded and they stopped doing experiments, basically. She gets to grow up with her and with another guy called Caleb, which basically becomes her brother. He also gets adopted. We don't know when, we don't know how, and I'm very curious about that. One day, once she's a hunter, so at the start of our storyline, she goes back home with her brother as they go to the groceries outside, and then they come back. The brother goes back in before her, and as she's about to come in, the house explodes. Both her grandma and her brother die. And that is what starts her adventure on trying to understand what the fuck happened to her, because she gets documents of the tests that were done on her as a kid, and also trying to get who put a fucking bomb there and tried to kill her entire family. A personal headcanon of mine that I would love to see happen: Sylus is high that has the protocore ether core inside shines a bit and is a bit different, like you have little things about it when he activates it. I would love to see a physical activation of her ether core as well when she gets to learn to use it a bit more. I think that would be really cool, like either crystals going over her, or maybe I don't know, skin marks or something. They wouldn't do skin marks because you wouldn't be able to personalize her character as much, but I think that would be fun. I think that would be very cool. We get to Caleb. Who the fuck is Caleb? He's not MC's by blood brother, but they pretty much grew up together and shit like that. He's not dead. It's 100% sure that he's not dead. The reason for that is, first, they did a 3D model for him, which they don't do a 3D model for a lot of people. He could be just because he's a side character, like they did a 3D model also for the grandma, but I don't believe that's the only reason. Second of all, he has a really cool evil / power. It would make no sense to give that kind of evil to a character that's going to be there for 2 things and then just die. Third of all, his name was trademarked by the company.
Well,
in Chinese, and they've only done that for love interest so far. Fourth of all, we only have text messages of the love interest and Caleb. And also, yes, the fucking text message of him saying, I promise you'll see me every day, after he dies, stays here and taunts you for the entirety of the game. And so I believe that Caleb is going to come back and become a love interest. I would love for it to be childhood friends to villain to lovers kind of story, where he comes back and is vengeful of MC because he thinks that she is one of the reasons why he dies, or something along those lines, or he discovers stuff about her and he gets extremely jealous, or something along those lines. I think it could be really interesting because we have Sylus, which is an enemies to lovers kind of storyline. We have Zayne, which could become a childhood friend to lovers to enemies storyline, and we would have Caleb, which is childhood friend to enemies to lovers storyline. That could be fun. Also, the man in the raincoat. So I'm going to go quickly over the man in the raincoat. Who is the man in the raincoat?
Obviously.
He's the man that we hear of in 2 of the Underneath World stories. He's the main character of one, and he's a side character in another one. He's the man that works for the mafia. He's the man that has a lot of information about everyone, and he also is the guy that gets the information about the lab, about MC as a child, of the grandma doing her thing of as a lab worker, being like, we've done this test, and she has this and this and this. The thing is, the man in the raincoat used to work for Only Kindness, or another mafia, I can't remember, but then he stops working for them to work under Rafayel, because Rafayel pops up out of nowhere and is like, hey, also, I have links to the mafia as well. If you don't want to get killed by your other employer, work for me. And so he says, okay. He also then meets a man that has a light evil, like Xavier, and also he's linked to Xavier because we then hear of him being around where Xavier's main base is. So it makes sense that he would be part of the crew of Xavier, and him and that man fight, and he loses, and he ends up kind of left for dead. I don't think he's dead, but he's kind of left for dead. So we know that there are tensions between Rafayel's and Xavier's side, and also Sylus' side, on like a form of triangle. So I want to know when they start killing each other, because that would be very interesting. Especially from a main story standpoint, where then you end up becoming the enemy of the other love interests if you end up with a specific love interest, which I think could be really interesting. For a little bit, I thought the man in the raincoat might be Caleb, but it would not make sense because at the time of the story that we are playing, Caleb has supposedly been dead for 3 months, and so it would make no sense for him to be the man in the raincoat who has been working undercover for the mafia for years. Because I don't think that specific story was supposed to happen like a lot in the future or whatever. Caleb is the man Rafayel meets at the nightclub with the suit. Maybe it could be him. So he might still be working under Rafayel. He might be the man in the fucking raincoat that and Rafayel meets at the nightclub. It might still be him.
Possible, baby.
Maybe he's been working undercover for years still and died. So in summary, there's been a lot of story. There's a lot of mysteries to uncover for every single part of this game. It's only been a year since it's been out. I am very excited for all of it. Thank you for listening. I'm so sorry.
Let's go.